everyone, welcome back. Today we are talking long-wearing sweat-proof summer makeup. Now sadly, it is still winter here in Australia, but as far as I know, it's very hot for many of you. So I'm going to take one for the team. This will also be a helpful tutorial if you have oily skin or perhaps your makeup doesn't last as long as you'd like. So right onto the tutorial. In terms of primer, if you've found a primer that extends the wear of your makeup and you love it, by all means use it. I'm actually quite partial to Japanese sunscreens. This one in particular really keeps oiliness and sweatiness at bay, and my base looks fresher for much longer. More importantly, it offers fantastic sun protection, which of course is crucial in summer. And please don't rely on a foundation for SPF, guys. The amount of foundation that you have to apply to receive that labeled sun protection, you're probably not applying that much, so invest in a separate SPF. For foundation today, I'm going to be using the Armani Lasting Silk, which I find lasts very well on me, but you can use your favorite long-wearing foundation. Some of my favorite long-wearing foundations are for oily skins. I quite like the Estee Lauder Double Wear Light, which funnily enough isn't all that light. It offers a medium coverage. For drier skin types, I quite like the MAC Face and Body. That one is quite dewy, but it still resists transfer. Two very good options. I'm not sure if you guys have the same experience, but I find that the more foundation I apply, the greater propensity for it to migrate and smear. So I'm just applying very little exactly where I need it. And I need it mostly around the nose. I have some redness there. But let's say that you have more to conceal on the jawline. You could start there and blend outwards. So adapt it to suit you. So you can still see a bit of redness here and there, but you know what? I am perfectly okay with that. Onto under eye concealer. The most long-lasting under eye concealer that I've come across is the MAC Pro Longwear. I'm running this under my eyes, but in fact my favorite place to apply Pro Longwear is on the bridge of the nose. So I'm just adding the excess product right here. Now, fun fact, I'm a glasses wearer, and for the longest time, I struggled with my makeup dissolving where the nose piece sits. MAC Pro Longwear is the answer to all of my prayers. It really stays put, even though I put on and take off my glasses like 100 times a day. There you go. Good tip for glasses wearers, or even if you wear sunnies in summer. Next, I'm going to set my under eye concealer with my all-time favorite Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder. Now, this will help to prevent your under eye concealer from creasing, but there's also a bonus implication. It extends the longevity of your eyeliner and your eyeshadow. The reason being, there's less oil and moisture around the eyes that might encourage your eye makeup to migrate. Right on to brows. Waterproof brow pens are absolutely budge-proof. You could practically go swimming in these. My favorites are the Stila and the Suku brow pen. I'm using the Stila today. But if you're not really keen on a pen style brow product, you can go for something like Makeup Forever Aqua Brow, which is also a waterproof formula. Whenever I'm doing really long wearing makeup for humid days, I always gravitate towards cream eyeshadows. Today I'm using a MAC Paint Pot, and this is in the shade Coral Crepe, which is a great summery coral color. Now, I have heard some people say that MAC Paint Pots crease on them, and if that's the case, you can actually layer this over a regular eye primer. So I've just smooshed that all over the lid with no real rhyme or reason. Next, I'm going to take a synthetic crease brush with a bit of extra product, and I'm just running that through the socket. Let's brainstorm some other really long-wearing cream eyeshadows. Another favorite of mine are the By Terry Ombre Black Stars. They're those eyeshadow stick thingies, and I find that they have a really strong setting power, so you need to blend rather quickly. I also really like the Maybelline Color Tattoos. They're a good drugstore option, and I actually find the formula to be very similar to the MAC Paint Pots. All right, so I blended it just above the crease so that when I look ahead, you can see a bit of that color peeking out of the socket. I feel like playing a little bit more, so I'm going to take this peach shade. Now, as far as I know, this Dior Quint is discontinued, but if you're looking for a good dupe, Makeup Geek Peach Smoothie is very similar. I'm also going to add just a touch of that brown to the outer socket, just to give the eye a little bit more shape. And for the lower lash line, I'm just going to mirror what I did on the top lid. So I'm going to push some coral crepe into the lash line and then add a touch of that darker brown at the outer corners. So a lot of you have asked me to name my favorite long wearing eyeliners. Now, if it's the middle of summer and it's really humid, I tend to omit eyeliner altogether, and I think that's a really fresh take on summer makeup. But if you can't live without your eyeliner, here are my 5 long wearing favorites. The MAC Pearl Glide, this is quite a soft formula, so it's ideal for the tight line or the waterline, but it does set and it lasts all day. The Stila Smudge Sticks, these come in an awesome range of shades. Also the Pixie Endless Silky Eye Pencil, soft formula, great range of shades. The Rouge Bunny Rouge Long Lasting Eye Pencil. This one is a little bit harder and drier in texture, but I think out of the 5, it exhibits the best longevity. Also the NARS Larger Than Life Long Wear Eyeliner. I'm going to be using the NARS today, and this is a brown shade, but I find that all 5 formulas last well on the tight line with minimal smudging. So straight onto mascara now. I'm using my new favorite. This is the Makeup Studio Waterproof 3D in Extra Black. 10 points to anyone who knows who I sound like. So I'd recommend a waterproof formula if it's going to be quite a hot and sweaty day. This one in particular I find is indelible. It's actually quite hard to remove. You're going to need some sort of oil-based remover. I'm going to take a small amount of translucent powder and I'm going to dust that all over the face. If you have taken nothing else from this tutorial, moist products will migrate, so I prefer to set everything. Let's talk about this powder. This is the Rouge Bunny Rouge Loose Powder, and the only powder that I will use nowadays. It's the powder for people who don't like powder. It's a very light silica-based powder and legitimately invisible on the skin. So if you're like me and you don't like powder, I think you'll like this. So since it's summer, I'm going to roll with it and use a bronzer. The most beautiful bronzers ever, the Guerlain Four Seasons. I'm going to take most of the product off on my wrist, and I'm running that on the tops of the cheekbones and a bit down the nose. I'm not doing any elaborate contouring here. I'm just adding a little bit of warmth to my skin. I also always add a touch to the center of my neck. My neck is a lot paler and a lot cooler than the rest of my body, and I want it to match my limbs. So just adding a bit of extra warmth there. For blush, I am using Illamasqua Lava, which is a matte blush. Now, I tend to go for mattes if it's really humid, because I think that if you add shimmer mixed with a bit of sweat, it can all start to look a little bit greasy. So if you're partial to highlighter, go right ahead, but I tend to stick to mattes. Now, if you find that your cheek color doesn't last as long as you would like, you can layer a powder blush over a cream blush, and you'll get a long-lasting color that way. If you watched my lip product addict tag, you would have seen the Becca Beach tints. These are a stain, so they're very long lasting. They can be used on the lips and the cheeks. I do find that they're really great for textured lips or chapped lips, which is often my problem. So I'm just going to add a touch of dragon fruit on the lips. And this one is a really warm pink, and I just think it's a really pretty color and it makes me happy. Lucky last step. Setting sprays. I only recently delved into the whole setting spray world, but I really like them. I used the Urban Decay All Nighter when I was in Europe, and it was so hot and humid. I definitely found that it enhanced the wear of all my makeup. And I find if I get a little bit on my lips, it makes my lip color last longer too. So thumbs up from Karima. So that, my lovelies, is the final makeup done. Now, what would I take with me to maintain this fresh face? First of all, I would take blotting papers. My favorite are by a brand called Tatcha, and these are unpowdered, so they don't leave any kind of strange powdery residue on the face. Love those. I would also take a powder with a sheer coverage. This is just good for touch-ups and mattifying the face where required. This one has also a little mini brush in there, so really handy. the lip tints or the lip stain, this one can also be used on the cheeks, so great multi-purpose product. And of course, a small vial of some perfume because I don't want to stink. I hope you guys picked up a new tip or two to help you beat the heat this summer, but more importantly, I hope you had fun. The YouTuber of this week is Cassie from Cloudy Apples. Her channel isn't entirely beauty centric, but she offers really insightful advice on life and happiness. I always leave her videos with an extra spring in my step. She also offers really good tidbits on healthy eating. So I'll link her channel somewhere here. Definitely go check her out. Leave her a comment. I hope you guys all have a wonderful day and I will speak to you very soon. Bye bye.